All right, what is up, Seatoids? We got day one of stage three of the Starlighter Budapest Major. It was probably the best day of any of the videos I've done so far. Just like actual top competition for once. So let's get into it. We had Paravision Mavs to start out the day. I thought Paravision were gonna win this. I believe I predicted that in my video yesterday, or 2 days ago, but they did not. They went to overpass, and they went 14-16, which is just unfortunate. But there's always tomorrow. I hope they're fine because I really do like Paravision. We got Imperial versus Mongols. I also said yesterday Imperial had a pretty good shot at this, and they did win it in overtime. These were the first two matches of the day, and they both won 16-14, so that was pretty cool to watch. We have Passion UA. This was just depressing. I believe their first time was 1-11. Yes, 1-11. Which, I mean, it's Mirage, so not entirely out of the question in an average game, but it's not what you want to see for NA. We had Spirit versus Liquid. This was actually looking competitive because they were doing. Liquid had a pretty good, 4 rounds on the T side, which can be enough against like a normal team, but it's not a normal team, and they got destroyed, unfortunately. We have Pain versus 3D Max. I thought Pain was going to go 0-3 because they're not good, and 3D Max was just worse today somehow. So they need to work on. Jeez, 0.47 versus Pain. They need to work on something. Pain also haven't had a ton of reps since, or just this entire season. They've kind of been bombing at a tier 1 tournaments and they haven't played any tier 2 tournaments. So I guess we haven't really seen them that much except for their losses. So maybe they've just been having really good practice. I don't know. We have FaZe versus Vitality. I think everyone thought Vitality was going to win this, or at least most people did. FaZe obviously walked away with it. We see some standout performances from Jacob and Frozen. I think just the better Jacob is doing, it's just more likely that they're going to win a match because he previously at least was their weakest link when he joined. Because, he came from tier 2. Brokey and Kerrigan are just doing bad. I don't think that's going to change. I don't see either of them being long-term members going forward after this major. We have Bait Falcons. I believe I said if a team was to beat Falcons, it would be Bait. I believe I said that yesterday because, I mean, they did. QSK had a pretty good map. I mean, I think this might be below his average. No, it's above his average. Below Monasty's average, obviously. That's not a good look for him. So they get kind of destroyed there, even though it's 13-10. I mean, it's Bait versus Falcons. You got to do better if you're Falcons there. And then this was depressing. I believe Furia got 12 rounds on CT Nuke, and then it was 1-2. So, wonderful. At least wonderful and bitter at the top of the scoreboard. I did say yesterday for Navi to have success, they need those two to activate. But I mean, 0.85, 109 is not going to cut it in terms of activation. The 1-1 groups following that, we had Pain G2. I mean, obviously G2 is going to win this one. Pain at least kept it a little bit competitive. I mean, 7 rounds is 7 rounds. Could have been 13-0, but kind of knew who the winner was going to be before it even started. We got Spirit versus FaZe. FaZe actually did worse than Liquid did versus Spirit. I mean, look at these ratings. 0.77 being the highest rating. And Donk actually did worse this game. Chopper kind of stepped in, but Shiro and Donk both did worse than they did against Liquid, and FaZe still lost by. They didn't even get 20 rounds in the game. So yeah, Furia Imperial, obviously some regional rivalry. Furia are obviously going to come out here because, I mean, just Molotov versus Try alone. I was looking for Caserado to kind of activate in this stage because that's really what they need. He's their second best player, I would say. Arguably their best, just because Molotov obviously is going to have a higher rating because he's an AWPer. And Caserado has just been on the team longer, but I think Molotov is probably, at least skill-wise, their best player right now. So when he's activated, there's not really any stopping. Yakinar, 1.13, lowest rating on the team. It's crazy. In the 0-1 bracket, we had Vitality destroying 3D Max. I would not be surprised if 3D Max is a short run here at this major. There's not really much to say here. It is what it is. We have Passion UA versus Falcons. Again, just tragedy to watch. I mean, yeah, that's not what you're going for. I think Passion UA got up to 4-10. They ended 2-10. They got up to 4-10, and I started believing, and then I remembered that it's an NA team, and then I stopped. Liquid Mongols. Liquid just always lose to Mongols. They don't even have Senzu, and Controlas decided to be the top frag today. Yeah, the Mongols. It's usually 9-10. The Mongols usually have one great player whenever they play Liquid, and it happened to be their worst player today, which is unfortunate for us Liquid fans, us naffers in the chat. But he at least went positive on the second map, so because the first map he did not at all. But I mean, 6-7, 6-7. Anyway, and then finally we have Navi versus Paravision. I've heard some talks. I've heard some talks, or at least some theories, that Navi could buy out the bait core. I know obviously there's some like regional discrepancies with Ukraine and Russian players right now, but I think that buying a Paravision core for Navi would also not be the worst idea, if that is not problematic for the players. But like a bait core, yeah, I could see. I believe Alex is their new IGL right now, and he's fragging out as an IGL, so that's good to see. Maybe like I mean, they don't. Wonderful's honestly playing pretty decent. People clown on him because he misses some shots, but he is probably top 5 offer right now, which isn't saying much given the state of opping. But I don't think he's the worst player in the world. I think that they could keep him and then just get 3 Ukrainians. Are they all? Yeah, they're all Ukrainian. So get like a Kenzazor, an Ascenthiel, and then Alex, I think would do the trick. Going tomorrow, we have Mouse Spirit. This is always a coin toss. Spirit have more firepower, Mouse have more consistency usually. I would give Donk's playing how he played the first 2 maps. I would give Spirit the win here. So I would not be surprised if Spirit wins at all. I think it's a lot closer than fans of either team want it to be. But yeah, I don't really care that much about either of these teams, so I'll be pretty unbiased here. Give them maybe like a 55-45. Furious should have no problem beating G2. If they do, that would just look bad on Furia. They're number 1 HLTV and VRS right now. So yeah, that would not be a great look. I think Furious should probably have maybe a 65-70% chance of beating G2 here. We have FaZe versus Mongols. If Controls can lock in, I think that Mongols should have no problem dealing with FaZe here. FaZe are kind of a pop-off team, and no one's been popping off. They did kind of versus Vitality, but Vitality was also playing bad. And yeah, Frozen, Jacob. Frozen is a god at nuke. I think this was nuke. So as long as Mongols ban nuke, I would say Mongols probably have an edge here. I would give them maybe a 60% chance of beating FaZe. We have bait Vitality. Realistically, Vitality should have no problem dispatching or disposing of bait. Bait, as I've said in every single one of my videos, they're kind of just a momentum team. They somehow fight through every single game, and they win quite a few of them. I think did they get close? No, they did not get close against Mouse, but still. So I'll give Vitality maybe a 60% chance of winning this one. Pain Navi, I'm always going to go whoever's playing Pain, because they just have not looked that impressive to me, besides winning against 3Max, who has also looked bad, so that doesn't really say much. Bit and Wonderful, if they're playing alright, I would say they're better than Snow and QZ on a good day. So I would give Navi probably 70% chance of winning this. Imperial Falcons, this is probably the most biased matchup that we're gonna even get in this stage. Maybe Falcons, Fashion UA. I think Imperial are lower than Falcons, VRS. Obviously, HLTV they are. So this should be pretty heavily favored for Falcons. It's a best of 1, so anything can happen. I'd give Falcons maybe a 60% of this because they're also not consistent. Liquid versus Passion UA. It's unfortunate that we have both NA teams competing for survival. I will be disappointed and cry myself to sleep if Liquid loses. They have no business losing to Passion UA right now. They were Liquid started last stage 0-2 and ended 3-2, so I genuinely do believe in the Liquid comeback here to 3-2, making it to the playoffs. I don't know if they have much of a playoff chance, but I do think that they still definitely have the drive left in them. So I'll give Liquid probably a 70% chance of winning this. It's one of those matchups where the rankings aren't that different, but like if you know these two teams, especially being NA kind of NA teams, the difference is huge here. Paravision, 3D Max, Paravision, I'll give it 70% chance of winning this. Paravision are just looking good right now, even if they are in the O2 bracket. Again, best of ones was one thing. They haven't had great maps. This one was close, obviously. So they haven't been looking great, but 3D Max I think is just a worse team right now. I mean, all of their ratings are worse head to head compared to the other team. So, yeah, I would give Paravision probably 70% shot at winning this. And yeah, that's about it.